we almost had another big upset. Japan looked like in this game was gonna be doing what Russia did to Spain yesterday, but only even more impressive, and that is beat Belgium in regular time. In fact, they actually went up 2-0 in this game in the second half, thanks to Hiraguchi and Inu, I think, or Inu, something like that. But they were up 2-0 in this game, and when I saw that score, I thought for sure that Belgium is not going to come back from this. No team has ever come back from going down 2-0 and come back in the second half since 1966, when I think it was, I forgot who did it, but this team was able to come back from a 3-0 deficit at halftime and beat North Korea 5-3 in 1966. But that was the only time that has ever happened. And Belgium basically adds to that list of the only team to ever come back from a 2-goal or more deficit. And what's even more impressive about this is that they only had 20 minutes to try to do this miraculous comeback, and they also won this one in regular time. I mean, this comeback all started with Vertonghen, which basically scored a very towering kind of header that, you could kind of argue the Japanese goalkeeper could have done a little bit better in terms of trying to keep that one out, and he probably should have kept that out. Although he kind of was got in a wrong position, and I think maybe he kind of misjudged it until it was too late that one was put it into the right side of the post. And then, of all people, Fellaini is the one that scored the equalizer for Belgium. And then with the game tied at 2-2, just as you thought that this game was going to head into extra time, and you could also say that just when you thought Japan was going to retake the lead, because Kasuga had a very good chance right around the 30-yard area, and he basically struck that one toward goal. Thibaut Courtois, of course, saved that. And then just a couple of minutes later, this was probably one of the most impressive counterattack I have ever seen in my life, and probably the most incredible counterattack that I've seen so far in this World Cup, because literally this was the last kick of the game. Belgium completely ripped apart this Japanese defense on the break, and this is a Japanese defense that had looked really decent in this game and also pretty much in this tournament too, but they completely ripped them apart. And again, of all people that you would think that potentially could score that winning goals, like maybe De Bruyne, Hazard, or even Lukaku, it would be Nacer Chadli that scores the winning goal. Although I think it was Lukaku or Hazard that made that assist to Chadli. But of all people you would think that scored the winning goal, you wouldn't think Nacer Chadli is. And really, in this game, all three goals that were scored by Belgium were kind of guys that you don't think is the guy that you would rely to score a goal. I mean, Vertonghen is a center back, and Fellaini, well, we know how Fellaini is and how rare he scored goals. And also Nacer Chadli, who last year was playing for the relegation Premier League club that is West Brom. So yeah, that is incredible how you could have a player that was playing with a relegation team in the Premier League last season to scoring the winning goal and scoring the last minute goal in the round of 16. And, for Belgium, obviously they dodge a huge bullet in this game, and they definitely save a little bit of dignity in terms of me predicting them to win the whole thing. Although, to be fair, I am sort of regretting now why I should have picked Belgium to win, to go all the way, considering the fact that they have not done very well throughout the knockout stage. And it kind of showed in this game. They looked nothing like they were in the first three games of the group stage. And, they kind of dodge a bullet in this game. But now, when they do play against bigger opponent, which next time when they do play in the knockout stage, it will be Brazil in the quarterfinal. And if they put that kind of performance against Brazil, yeah, they are going to lose. And speaking of Brazil, well, they take care of business in their game, and like Belgium, it wasn't a pretty victory as they took care of business against Mexico 2-0. And the curse of Mexico always going out in the round of 16 and cannot get to that elusive fifth game continues. And it's only fitting that they lose it by 2-0. I mean, Delta Zero, if that actually ring a bell to anybody. But, you know, for this game, let's just say that it was a very even game. I think Mexico really dominated the first 15 minutes of this game. I thought they would potentially get that first goal. And as the game goes on, Brazil started to grow into it and started had a couple of chances, although Mexico continued to have chances of their own. But the only problem for Mexico in this game is, one, they could not finish, and two, that final ball is just not good enough, and three, I felt like some players on that Mexican team just being a little bit too unselfish, and that I feel like when they get into a good area, they should have probably shoot on goal instead of just making a pass. And for Brazil, you know, they did score the 2 goal in the second half, goals from Neymar, which, by the way, let me just say that Neymar basically have just won the best Oscar award in this World Cup. I mean, if you guys have not seen this yet, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this, and this is going to be a meme now, right around the 70th minute when Neymar was on the ground, one of the Mexican player basically grabbed the ball that is between his leg, and once that Mexican player grabbed the ball, and I think it was Layun, the Mexican player that grabbed the ball away from Neymar, Neymar basically just literally decided to roll on the ground like crazy, almost as if Layun basically just stepped on his foot as he was trying to get the ball away from between his leg. And honestly, that was just like, when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Neymar? Like, I mean, I know that Neymar always had this reputation of diving and stuff like that. We all seen some of the most notorious dive from Neymar and some of the most notorious play acting that Neymar has done. But this one, in my opinion, probably is the worst. I mean, seriously, Layun basically just grabbed the ball between your leg and you pretend that you just got shot or something like that, or you just got stepped on. I mean, come on. And what was so even more bizarre and more baffling is that the Brazilian medical staff even came to Neymar and they decided to spray that magical kind of sprayed on his leg, thinking that he is actually injured. And guess what happened after he finished spraying it? He got back on his feet and everything was fine. Yeah, no shit, everything was fine because he was never stepped on in the first place. And I honestly don't know what was the point of Neymar doing that. Like, it's not like he has to do that because he's gonna win a penalty, or if he needs to have a dive to get like an advantage or a free kick and something like that. No, that was a dead ball situation. Like, seriously, a dead ball situation, and you're trying to roll on the ground so you can get somebody sending off. And that dead ball situation was right near the center line and near the benches of the Mexican team, and yet that is what you had to do to try to get an advantage. I mean, I'm just, not only I'm angry about that incident, it's shocking. It is one of the worst kind of play acting I have ever seen by a player. And what was even more shocking is that they didn't even go to VAR for this. And I bet this is going to be used. This is going to be one of many things that a lot of those people that hate VAR and want to point out the evidence of why VAR does not work in the World Cup, they're going to use that as an evidence. Because, seriously, how did they not go to VAR to look at that instant? How they didn't even double check to see that, you know, Neymar was just clearly play acting. And the fact that the referee doesn't even give Neymar a card, that just makes this even more disgusting. And the fact that, you know, I'm kind of in some way glad that I don't don't pick Brazil to win the whole thing anymore, because this team is basically full of divers and full of cheating player. And I just hope that in some way they could potentially get eliminated very soon. I mean, everybody in the world right now pretty sure that they do not want to see Brazil near the final. As much as that Brazil want to get themselves redemption from what happened in the last World Cup, if they're gonna try to get redemption by just doing that kind of stuff every single game, yeah, you are not going to get a lot of good kind of support, and you are going to get a lot of hatred. And that incident, I'm absolutely disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting, and I'm absolutely baffled of how did Neymar not even getting sent off. I mean, if I was the ref at this situation, I would have gave Neymar a straight red for that. Like, that was a dead ball situation, and you just decided to play act like that to try to get a man sent off. That is a straight red offense. And at minimum, I think that should have been a yellow card too. But eventually, Firmino basically put the game to bed in the 88th minute, and Brazil, of course, move on in the next match against Belgium. And as for Mexico, as much as I hate them, and as much as that I should be making fun of them and just kind of laughing them once again because they're out of the World Cup in the round of 16. In some way, I kind of have to give a little bit sympathy to them, because look, they did not play that badly against Brazil. They were actually competing against Brazil. They were going toe to toe with Brazil, and I just think that for them, if they can find another player that can be a clinical kind of finisher, and just do not be so unselfish whenever they go on the attacking and maybe can put the ball into the back of the net, then I think this Mexican team could definitely beat Brazil. I mean, if this was a rematch, then I would think Mexico could potentially beat Brazil in this match. And the fact that the referee was clearly against Mexico in this game. I mean, I kind of do agree with what Juan Carlos Osorio said. He says that the referee were mostly against them. And if you just look at that match, it's kind of hard to disagree with him. Like, some of the calls in this game, including that Neymar kind of moment where he just kind of rolled on the ground, and how in the world did he not get a yellow or a sending off? That is just some of the worst officiating that I've seen so far in the World Cup. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these two games? And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.